Hello, friends. Welcome to Silan Software and codeinterview.com. My name is Trilochan Torai. I am going to present a tutorial series on microservices with the Spring Boot. So, first of all, we have to know what is microservices. Building small services is known as microservices, where each service is one Spring Boot application. In my previous tutorial, I have given the clarity about Spring Boot. So here, the main objective is we will represent microservices. That means we will develop microservices, and the most important is how one service is communicating with another service. That is the main objective. First, a simple example that we will see. So, what I told, one service is nothing but a boot application or a Spring Boot application. Suppose, for example, we can consider that we have an address service and we have an employee service. Okay, then we will see how an employee service will call to address service. That means employee service will communicate with the address service. We will see. So first of all, this is my STS environment. So I will create a project file, new Spring Starter project. So let my first project name is address service. Type is Maven jar 17 language Java. This type of boot application that already we have done. If you go through my previous videos, then you can get clarity. So this is my group name com.service dot let it address. So address service description related microservices with Spring Boot. So let com.service.address. Group name and package name, we can represent different also. Suppose you specify com.service.address here, com.example, com.spring, no problem. Okay, so I can write suppose com.address. Okay, so then click on next option. Now I will add the dependencies, dev tool and web because it is a web applications. So regarding dependencies, I hope you all have known. Click on next option and click on finish. So what I did, simply I am developing is boot application. Let the boot application name is address service. So now a project structure is creating. Okay, so that is creating. Just I will open the project structure. So very simple. And here default port number is 8080 because Tomcat executing our application. So this is my address service. Very simple things that I will show you. First of all, I will create a controller component. I will go to my base package. This is my base package com.address. So right click on the base package, new class. Suppose let my class name is address controller. Click on finish. Okay. So we know that controller component is nothing but a class. So I will annotate by the annotation at the rate rest controller. Okay. So I will import this annotation. So the annotation at the rate rest controller representing the class address controller is a controller component. Guys, in Spring Boot section, I have given the clarity. Any Spring Boot application you are developing, so lots of components we have seen like entity, repository, service, controller. So, but one point you remember, without controller component, boot is meaningless. So, minimum one component that you have to develop, that is controller component. So, let I saved. I will define a method. So, public. Let my return type is string one method I am defining. Suppose get address return. Okay. Suppose I will write Jaidev Vihar Bhubaneswar like this. Control S. So in controller component, what I did, I defined a method. That method name is get address method. Basically, we say this is handler. And in controller component, to represent this handler, so I will create an endpoint. If I want to get the address, so that means getting information. And for this, I will create an endpoint get mapping. So for getting information, okay, let's slash address. So I created an endpoint. So I will import at the rate get mapping annotation. So when I will run, so one endpoint will create localhost colon 8080 and my endpoint slash address. When I will specify, then get address method definition will execute. That means for this method definition execution, so we need to represent an endpoint. So in this way, one service I develop, that means one boot application I develop. This is very simply what in simple way that I am explaining. Small things just I am showing, but after this example, in my next video, I will show you using a database. So we will develop microservices, and we will see how one service is communicating with another service. Okay, so this is my address service. So now, so I will run. So I will go to my project name, right click, run as Spring Boot app. So in this way, I execute it, and you see Tomcat started on port 8080. So happily it executed. Just simply I will go to my browser. So I will open a browser localhost colon 8080 slash default port number of the server. Let here my endpoint I will give slash address. I will hit enter, and you see I got Joydev Bhubaneswar. That means we got output in this way. The address service we executed successfully. Now I will create another boot project. So file new Spring Starter project. So let my project name is employee service. Employee service. Okay, so type is Maven, packaging jar, version 17, language Java. So come.service.employee. So package let it come.employee. Okay, so click on next option. Dependency, I will add wave and a dev tool. So click on next option, click on finish. Now I am developing, I am creating another boot application, that is employee service. That is employee service. Just I will open the project structure. Okay. Now, first of all, I will go to application.properties file. So that application.properties file I will get here inside SRC main resources folder. So why I came to this file? Because here the port number I have to change, because we saw address service. That application we executed in the port number 8080. Okay. So here server port number I will change to 8081, because in same port number, if I will run multiple application, multiple services, so relationship we cannot build, error will arise when one service will call to another service. So it will give the error. Okay, so multiple services. If you are developing, that means multiple Springboard applications you are developing, and each application we will run in a separate port. So explicitly, we can set the port in this way: server dot port equals to 8081. So Tomcat default port number is 8080, but explicitly you can set 8081, 8082. So in, you remember in microservices context, when we will develop multiple applications, multiple services. So for each application, you have to set a port number. Okay, so first of all, you need to do this, and I will go to my base package. This is my base package. Similarly, I will develop a controller component. Controller is nothing but a class, new class. Let my controller component is employee controller. Employee controller. Click on finish button. Okay, same way we will develop. So how the class employee controller we will consider as a controller component. So I will specify at the rate rest controller annotation. So now I will import this annotation, and same way one handler I will define public, let return type is a string. Okay, so let my method's name is get employee, whatever you can define, and return employee name. So whatever we can define, suppose let it name, okay, let name John Doe, whatever you can give. Let email, okay, John for you at the rate gmail.com, an employee information that I am giving. Okay, suppose this is my employee information. Okay, so same way we developed another controller component, control S for saving. So in my controller component, one method I defined, that method name is get employee method. Return type is string. Basically, we say it is handler, and for this For representing this method execution, I will create an endpoint. So for getting information that we know that at the rate get mapping annotation that we will use. So at the rate get mapping annotation I used. So within double quotes slash whatever you can write. Suppose I will write employees. My endpoint is slash employees. Control S and at the rate get mapping annotation I will import. So in this way, employee controller component we develop. Okay, so get employee method is my handler. This method I define for representing this method definition execution. So I created an endpoint that is at the rate get mapping within brackets slash employees. Getting information, getting the employee information. So the request is at the rate get mapping. So now we will come to our main point. Now in this employee service, we will call to address service. My point is suppose uh, my first of all I will run. Okay, first of all I will run. First of all I will get employee details whatever I have presented. So you go to the project employee service, right click, run as Spring Boot app, and you see. So it executed. You see Tomcat started on port 8081. So my endpoint is slash employees. I will go to any browser, localhost, my server name colon 8081 because 8081 port number explicitly I have set slash employees, my endpoint. Enter. And you see, so I got the output successfully. Name is John Doe. Email John for you at the rate gmail.com. Now, my objective is suppose in this place, suppose address service output. So I will see. So what I will do, suppose what I will do. So let's suppose I will take a variable. Now my requirement is I will see the employee information John Doe, that is John for you at the rate gmail.com along with address. For this, suppose one output variable, suppose a took, let's string address equals to null, let control S. And you see, so I will give a space here, let the value of address, control S. So just I will go to my browser and I will do the refresh button. You see null. It is coming. Now this instead of null, I want the output of address service. I will say, okay, the output of address service. So the output of address service is Joydev Bhubaneswar. Output of address services Joydev Bhubaneswar. So how I will bring to this place? So Joydev Bhubaneswar is the output of address service. So here in employee service, we will call to address service. Then how I will call? So in which way? This is important, guys. In which way that in employee service that we will call basically that is called as a REST call. Okay, so for representing a REST call, first of all, you have to take a REST template object. I will explain. Private REST template object, let REST template. So what is this? And uh, at the rate auto add, I will annotate by auto add annotation. Now at the rate auto add annotation, I will import REST template. I will import. So what is REST template? What is REST template? So basically, REST template is what? REST template is a built-in class name. So why this REST template we are using? Why? Why? For REST call, basically, REST template is a class provided by the Spring framework that serves as a client for making HTTP request to consume RESTful web services. So basically, what REST template should do, it simplifies the process of communicating with REST APIs from your Java application, particularly within a Spring Boot context. That means what? Our objective is to represent a REST call. Through the REST call, employee service will communicate with the address service. So, how to represent a REST call? So, for this, there is a method, there is a built in method. That method is get for object. That method is get for object. So, here, one method get for object method I will call. It is coming from REST template class. That's why it is invoking by REST template object. It is invoking by REST template object. It is invoking by REST template object. So how to call? So get for object is a built-in method coming from REST template class. That's why it is invoking by REST template object. That's why I wrote REST template not get for object. So within double quotes, so it take two arguments. Two arguments. First argument is URL. First argument is URL. So which URL? Which URL? So you see this URL. So, this is the URL. This URL when I am entering, I am getting the address service out. Okay, this URL I will put through this URL, through which URL we have got the address output, address service output. So that URL I will copy and here I will paste. Okay. Then second argument is if you go through get for object method documentation, you can get second argument is what? String dot class control S. Second argument is string dot class. String dot class, that argument specifies that the response from the address endpoint is what is a string value. The response from the address endpoint is expected to be a string that the control will expect. Okay, so get for object is a built-in method. Again, I'm repeating, coming from REST template class. That's why we are invoking by a REST template object. We are writing REST template object dot get for object method. Get for object method taking two arguments. One is URL and one is string dot class. Which URL? So which URL we have got the address service output, that URL that is specified. Okay, control S. So okay. So get for object. So an error get for object. Okay. Oh, double quote. So silly mistake here I have done. Control S. Okay. So now in this way that we will call to this. So here at the rate auto weird annotation. So what is the meaning? What is the meaning of at the rate auto weird? So maximum times that I have given the clarity. What is the purpose of at the rate auto add annotation? Automatically, whatever the configuration is requiring, it is wearing, it is binding. It is binding. So, but here, now if you will run, uh, error will arise because the concept is saying, you remember, this is one point what I'm going to tell. Sometimes, at the rate auto word annotation not functioning fully. That means not binding with a what bin properly. At that time, explicitly, we have to represent the terminology. Here, the term is REST template as bin component. That means little bit configuration here we will require. So that is what our REST template we will explicitly represent as a bin component. Okay. So again, I'm repeating. So at the rate auto word annotation meaning is whatever the configuration is requiring for this in a file, any new class object or new interface object when we are presenting. So at the rate auto word annotation we are specifying internally whatever the configuration is requiring, automatically it will bind, okay, with corresponding bin component. But here the concept is saying explicitly here we need to represent REST template as a bin component. So it is nothing but a configuration file. So additionally here what we have to do, I will go to my best package. Okay, so here controller, you can okay, so here I did in this way. Okay, so it will be better practice give a other package controller component. So okay, no issue, but it will be better. So right click on this. Okay, so in sub one package I have created, but it will be better you create a sub package for the controller component. Suppose now I will create a configuration file, new class. Let dot config. Okay, let my employee, let f config. One configuration file that I am developing. Okay, one configuration file that I am developing explicitly, but here my objective is what REST template object I will represent as a bin component. Okay, first of all, this class employee of config. So how I will represent it is a configuration component. For this, there is an annotation configuration. So explicitly, I will specify that is at the rate configuration annotation. Now I will import. Okay, so very simple at the rate bin annotation. First, I will specify. So public return type is REST template. Any method, one method I will define. So let my method name is suppose REST template. So this method representing what return new class name, new REST template, new REST template. So REST template is a class, so control S. So this is representing what? REST template I presented as a bin component simply. One my objective is one REST template object I will return. Okay, so REST template I will import at the rate bin. For this I will import. Now this is representing what? The class REST template we presented as a bin component. Objective is we will return a REST template object. This is my objective, but whatever I will do, I have to do inside a method definition. For this one method I define, but the method type is REST template. So this is my configuration file. It will be better. My practice is always controller component. I will keep in a controller package. New class let dot controller. Already I have developed just this points employee controller. Click on finish. Just this controller component, control A, control C, I copied. So it will be better practice. Control S. So this controller component I will delete. Okay, so you see, this is what package. So what I did actually, my objective is this is my base package. This is my controller package. If somebody will see employee controller.java, this package com.employee.controller. Okay, this package is representing or containing a controller component. So like this is my configuration package. Okay, so this my I can write also explicitly. I'm writing package com.employee.controller, employee.controller. Okay. So in this way, I developed actually employee controller component. It will be better practice actually. So there is no problem if you will keep every file inside the base package, but it will be good practice. Controller component you will keep inside a sub package com.employee.controller. If your com.employee is my what best package com.employee.config is my sub package com.employee.controller is another sub package. But any user, when any user will read, okay, so this is containing controller component, this is containing configuration component. Okay, so in this way I saved. Okay, DevTool dependency I have added because so any updates we are doing, so automatically it will republish. Okay, so now we will see. I will go to my this URL and I will do a refresh button. And you see, when I did a refresh button, so I got the output of address service. Name is John Doe, email, so Joydevyer Bhubaneswar. This Joydevyer Bhubaneswar is the output of address service. Okay, this is the output of address service. But that output of address service, so I got here in employee service. So in employee service, I got employee details along with address details. So hence I can say here employee service communicated with address service or employee service called to address service. Okay, so basically this is called as REST call. Okay, very simple example first. So now address service is one microservice, employee service is another microservice. So here service means one Spring Boot application, and we saw how one service communicating with another service. Okay, so I hope you got clarity. So in my next video, we will see so using database. So this by taking employee and address service, we will develop microservices and we will see how the service will communicate with another service. We will see how to fetch the data from database. So lots of things that we will discuss. Okay, so I hope everybody got clarity. Simple example how one service is communicating with another service, or we can say how one service is calling to another service with the help of REST call. Thank you.